Michael, is that you?
That was Mr. Estrada.
Is that you, Michael?
Yes, I'm
Look
here.
at you.
Welcome to TDGS Sports! And we're here to talk about not playoffs, but we are here to talk about the upcoming Super Bowl, the Epstein files with the committee members of the Olympics 2028. Yes, that's right, Charles. We're going there. I told you I would. We're
USA, baby, USA.
We're talking about how this opening ceremony for the Olympics has now been going on for
you said 2028.
For Olympics, the LA Olympics.
Oh.
The opening ceremony for the 2026 games had gone on for almost 3 hours now. And there's some coaching mix-up going on here. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Charles, is the USA hockey team going to absolutely murder Canada this year?
Well, you can only hope. You know, it's the funny thing is a lot of us old school hockey fans in the USA. See, the reason why we're a little bit conflicted was we always wanted to beat the Russians. This was back in the Cold War. That was the main thing. So the U.S. would get eliminated early because we just basically stunk up until 1980. Well, there's 1968 also. But anyways, so we were always rooting for Canada. So we grew up rooting for Canada. Then this whole rivalry thing started later on. And, you know, Canada not wanting to be the little brother or the stepchildren or anything else, they created this rivalry. But you know, I'll never dislike Canada the way that I really should because I rooted for them so much as a kid during international competition. But I do think the greatest thing is that the Maple Leafs are, you know, they no matter what, they find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. Now they've just they took the captaincy from John Tavares and they put Austin Matthews in a position that he's really not comfortable with. And as I predicted to someone else, I think it was last season, Austin Matthews be gone within 2 years because now all the pressure's on him. He's American. He doesn't really want it. He wants to win, but he doesn't get that Canadian thing.
Yeah, he does.
That's why it's Toronto is, it's just bad news there. But yes, I hope we spank Canada from I could bring up the whole political thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the high road and just say we spank them just on principle because I'm always about the USA, y'all. Always about the USA, baby. USA, you know? Holla.
Well, that's the big question. For those of us that don't have gray in our beards or lack the hair, right? That some of us have hair still. We didn't grow up where we're rooting for Canada. We're trying to come back from that awful ending to the four country cup last year. So the question is, we're here.
Yeah, speaking of Austin Matthews, where
he fumbled that game, and he's back on the roster. So I think that if he shows himself here, maybe the Maple Leafs will continue to keep him on.
See, back when I was a kid, they didn't really first there was Jane Kennedy, but she was the first chick that really got to talk about sports on the air like this young lady is sitting next to you there. And you know, I must say she's a little bit cuter than Jane Kennedy. I'll go ahead and say that.
Oh, thanks.
That's saying something.
All right. So that's what I'm looking at. And we will keep touch on the Olympics as far as next week because we're running out of football. We're literally running out of football. We got the Super Bowl Sunday, 5:30 Central Time for all the normal people. And to clarify, 3:30 Pacific Time, right? Is that what we're looking at?
You could just give Eastern Time like they always do, and everybody just adjusts off of that.
No.
If you hear us this, you just give Eastern and then let everybody go from that.
Clearly, we just tried that, and here we are an hour later than we were gonna start.
No, because you told them at 8:00 your time.
Anyway,
you mean 8:00 my time?
Yeah.
Yes. And he's calling me at 7:30. Hey, homeboy, where you at? You running on CP time?
Yeah. You knew
for millennials, you're gonna have to give them by state. If you live in California, it's this time. If you live in Nevada, it's this time. If you live in you gotta give them by the states.
Then if you're in El
North
Paso,
Carolina,
you're on your own
Idaho,
time.
North Dakota, Minnesota. Yeah, see, I know geography. I know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Turns out people who are Miami fans know how to tell time.
Yeah, it's 1972 somewhere. That's all I can say as a Dolphins fan. It's 1972 somewhere.
So here we go. Okay, let's talk about this one, guys. Let's bring this one up. I think we correctly predicted that Matt Stafford would get that MVP, right?
Yeah.
We see that? We correctly predicted that. What do we think about that? Is Matt Stafford the MVP? And why? What do you think went wrong for that MVP in that game 2 weeks ago? We didn't talk about that one, Charles.
Yeah, the Seahawks, man. Seahawks are just that's a machine. And I think give it another season or two, and I think that defense they have is going to start to get mentioned up there with the Legion of Boom. Even though I don't think, just from the straight linebacking core was incredible with Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett and KJ Wright. And who's the other guy? I always leave one out. Wait. Bobby Wagner. Yes.
Oh, Bobby Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, and he's actually, when you look at that Super Bowl they lost when they should have run the ball on the goal line, that game was truly lost on the possession before when they had stopped New England at midfield and Bobby Wagner took a horrific cheap shot at Julian Edelman out of bounds. That's truly what lost the game. Although that gave Pete Carroll a chance to make that really the stupidest play call in Super Bowl history by not running the ball on the goal line. But yeah, go and search back the drive before the Seahawks made their last drive. That was really what did it. Bobby Wagner with a just very selfish cheap shot on Julian Edelman out of bounds, and they had him stopped. They had him backed up to like 3rd and 12 or something like that.
That was an eagle call by Pete Carroll. He just wanted Russell Wilson to get the MVP in that Super Bowl. Well, that was all that was.
I think that came from the front office because they did not want to have a 29-year-old running back on an expiring contract be the MVP of the Super Bowl because that would have cost them some money,
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was Russell Wilson, even though I think he was only his 2nd or 3rd year at that time, but I would have checked out of it, even being young like that. I would have said, nah, it's Marshawn getting the ball. A-gap, B-gap, you name it, but he's getting the ball. And the Patriots at that time, they would have let him walk into the end zone just to leave Brady some time on the clock.
Yeah, some time on the clock to give him a chance. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So then what's the politics behind the MVP question, though?
Okay, we're looking at MVP. Are you talking about Stafford? MVP?
Well, I'm about Stafford, but you're talking, man, you brought something up, though, is that how are those decisions made, right? When you should have run the call, right? You should have given the ball to Marshawn and let him walk in the end zone, and he gets the MVP. Or you give Russell Wilson, who is, a mediocre at best quarterback. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Right? How does that decision get made?
Well, are you talking about made by the coaching staff or what?
Whatever. Yeah. Why? What's the politics behind it?
We'll let Easy E take this one.
Well, at the time, I think it was as Mr. Smith was saying, you have an older an aging running back on an expiring contract. You don't want him to be the MVP. You have a quarterback that's on a rookie contract. He is the face of your franchise, basically, or developing to be the face of your franchise. You give him the MVP, and you're thinking dynasty because you're coming off of one Super Bowl. You get another one, and you have your young quarterback that's the face of your franchise. You have the Legion of Boom. You're building up. You're thinking dynasty. You're thinking what the Kansas City Chiefs have done with Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm thinking. That's what they were thinking at the time. And it all reversed with that one play. One call just reversed everything for them. Reversal of fortune.
And that was the NFL. I think that was the football god stepping in and saying, hey, look, you know what? You got to be true to the game right here. And
yeah.
Well, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, you're a Bears fan from what I understand.
Yes.
Your team actually trading draft capital and moving up all the way to the number.
Let's stick with Russell Wilson. Let's stick with Russell Wilson.
Just as a note, is that Mr. Estrada claims that, hear me out, the Bears will win the Super Bowl next year. And see, I even put it on the under screen there.
You know what? Within the next, Caleb Williams, he's finally got good coaching now, and he's really coming along. So that dude is going to be a stud, Justin. He's going to be a stud. That's just the way it is, and he will go down as the best quarterback probably in Bears history. You got to go back to Sid Luckman when you look at Bears quarterbacks. So being the best quarterback in Bears history, I know it's not that great.
It's not saying much. It's not saying much. As a Bears fan, it's not saying much.
Right,
but you know what? You can easily see why Bears fans are excited about having Caleb Williams and matching him up with Ben Johnson. You can easily see how Bears fans are excited. And this year was probably my favorite season I've seen since we won the Super Bowl back 40 years ago. And I say this because watching the games this year, I saw not just Caleb Williams, but you see Colson Loveland, you see Roma Duze, all these kids that are on rookie contracts, and they're starting to blend together, they're starting to develop together. We're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna be here for a minute.
Yeah, that 85 Bears team lost only one game, right? I think.
Oh, here we go with the Miami. Here we go with Miami.
I'm getting old, so I didn't really know.
So here's a note. This is I understand this is a hit of both of you guys here, right? Is Caleb Williams is the coolest thing on the Bears since Brian Urlacher, right? Can we agree on that one?
See,
Brian Urlacher.
Brian, see, we didn't have a lot of young players. We have a lot of young talent right now that are on rookie contracts. Every time we had a Brian Urlacher, we had young players. Devin Hester. There were young. One player on the team. We didn't have
Hester the team, right? For the Bears,
Devin Hester is a better comparison to
for the Bears. You guys held on to Brian Urlacher too long, and for the Dolphins, you thought Urlacher would change the program around.
Well, he kind of did. He led us to a Super Bowl.
We had Urlacher?
Didn't you have Urlacher? Yeah, for seasons. Yeah.
No. Urlacher retired a Bear.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't remember that. I know we had
Urlacher retired a Bear to go get some hair.
I knew people on the Bears. I knew someone who knew the Bears coaching staff. Remember, the only reason why Aaron Rodgers has that Super Bowl ring is because the Bears kind of punked out in that season and let him get to the Super Bowl. They threw the last game of the season, let him in the playoffs, and then your fragile little boy Jay Cutler got an alley in the championship game and wouldn't go back in. But here's what happened. I know someone who knew the Bears coaching staff. What happened was they examined that leg at halftime, and it turned out there was really nothing wrong. It was just painful. So they said, here's what we'll do. We'll put you in the shotgun the whole second half, and, we'll go from there. And he said, no, I'd rather come out. So he stood there on the sidelines and watched his team lose. And then a few years later, he wound up in Miami for God only knows why. But
yeah. So correction, you're right. I looked it up. I don't know why I thought Brian Urlacher went to Miami, but it would have been good. It would have been funny.
No, it wouldn't have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been funny. I'm rolling with it. I'll correct myself. For some reason, I'm getting out there now to where I thought something, and I was wrong. Okay. We'll take it.
Justin always thanks me. He says, thank you, Jay Cutler, for giving us a Super Bowl. The only one that he experienced. He thanks us because we gave it to him. Here you go. Here's your Super Bowl.
And we rightfully took it. That's all right.
Because all they had to do was play their starters in the last game of the season. They would have kept the Packers out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do.
That's all they had to do.
And instead of keeping us out of the playoffs, what we do? Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it. Mr.
Go ahead, say it. Thank you, Jay Cutler. Just say it. Thank you, Jay Cutler.
Instead, Aaron Rodgers got to his one and only Super Bowl, even though he played in Lord only knows how many NFC championship games. But, yeah.
He only has one.
Anyways.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, he didn't do very good after that. That's
Very
why.
well.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, as I say, Aaron Rodgers, great talent, but he is more of a diva
Oh yeah.
than Brett Favre ever was.
Yeah, but let's talk about Matt LaFleur, right? Can we fire him yet?
I think they extended him.
Yeah, but can we extend him to fire him then?
No, you gotta keep him. You gotta keep him for 4 more years.
Can we send him to the Bears?
No.
You notice
You know
the
what?
Vikings.
What I actually sent a letter to the president of the Packers asking him to hire Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator.
Would you send a message to the entire city of Green Bay? Like,
Yeah.
That's deep right there. That's
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
You send a letter to Paul McCartney?
Hire Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Man, yeah.
Well, you notice Minnesota did the right thing. They canned their GM, who was basically responsible for letting Sam Darnold go, gambling on J.J. McCarthy 100%, and then the team missing the playoffs. That's what happened. J.J. McCarthy, I think he might just be, his body's a little too fragile for football. And, you know, I made the reference back. Colt McCoy, Nick Foles, Marcus Mariota, that type of thing, where they just can't stay healthy. They can't play more than 9 games a season.
I don't think he has the mentality for football either. I think he reminds me a lot of what's that kid from Texas Tech? What was it? Johnny
Manziel?
Johnny Manziel. No mind for football. He just throws it up there, slings it, gets hurt, is out, doesn't play.
Not Tech though. Not Tech. Was he at Tech?
He was at Tech, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
No,
Yeah, he was.
No, he was Mississippi, wasn't he?
No. It was Texas.
It
He
was
played with Mike Evans. He played with Mike Evans. Mike Evans was the reason he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Mike Evans would just go off the line and be wide open, and Manziel would just
and that's how I see JJ Hardy is not. I give him 3 more years.
Yeah.
Well, 2 more. This one, 2 more, and then they're gonna be done. They're gonna be looking for a new quarterback in Minnesota.
So he's got his rookie deal, and that's it, right?
That's it. He's out.
The deal is done. He's out. Yeah, like Tua.
I don't foresee.
He's gonna pack and going. He's gonna be going up to CFL.
Yeah, I don't foresee him like Sam Darnold. Huh? What?
I made a Vince Ferragamo reference. That's deep right there, man.
I don't foresee J.J. McCarthy. I don't foresee him being even a starter. You're right. I think the next league is where he's going to go. He doesn't have that potential like Sam Darnold to really step into a role and be in the big game.
Well, Darnold was considered a bust, before last season, really.
Yeah, but Darnold wasn't like this big of a bust, though.
Well,
but see, the difference is that Darnold is coachable. Darnold was willing to learn, and you could see him when he started with the Jets, where he was a bust. Darnold, what's his 5th team? Seattle is his 5th team, and Darnold with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Even though he had a other quarterbacks would have folded with how he ended last season with Minnesota. After starting off on a roll, and his last 2 games, other quarterbacks would have folded. He got shipped to Seattle, and that was his big break. Look where he's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Lesser quarterbacks, but his mentality, he's coachable. He has a skill set. He's not a great quarterback, but he can manage a game. That's a difference. He's coachable. You give him the right set of coaches. You give him the right group of. Look what he's done with Smith and Jigba.
So
they went crazy this season.
So he's Phil Simms. Is that a good comparison, Phil Simms?
Yeah, that's a fair comparison. See, that's actually a really fair comparison.
There you go. Yeah. See, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's actually a fair comparison. He can manage a game. You give him a set. You give him a good system where all he has to do is don't. And he's proven it because when he has his interceptions, it goes south for him. No, manage the game. Just don't throw the ball away. Look where he's at.
Phil Simms.
He proved it against the Rams, his arch nemesis. He couldn't beat the Rams. Last 2 games, he tore them up.
Yeah, he did. And
I think that was.
I think there's a little more of a dynamic element to Sam Darnold also.
I think
as we look at the game manager thing, but I think that he can really get it done though. Because the last regular season game against the Rams, I think they were down by 16 points in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won that game. And honestly, I was waiting for him to fold. I was waiting for him to go old Sam Darnold and fold, but he shows that he has something. I'd be interested to see not only the Super Bowl, but then how he carries himself next season with the confidence and really settling into that system there in Seattle.
Oh, I think it's just, but that's what I'm saying. He's in the right system.
Right.
He has the right set of coaches. He has the right set of players surrounding him. He's in the right system right now. And I think it's just going to elevate him. Honestly, I think this Super Bowl Sunday, I think it's not even going to be close. I think the
Hey, don't move too fast. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Not there yet. Don't even go there. But I will say the system works, but it's not just the offensive system that is what he benefits from. I would argue heavily that it's easy to work as a quarterback when you know on the other side of the ball is that you have a good supporting role, right? That mistakes aren't the mistakes that are going to cost the game. So you start to slow down a little bit, right? If you're moving fast, when you're like, if I make a mistake, throw an interception, you have the potential Packers problem where they're probably going to get a touchdown, right? For Seahawks, though, if he throws that interception, they're going to get that ball back and give it back to him, right? They're not going to be out there and take time away from him to do his job. And I think that's easier for offense to work slower, control the game more, to not just, you have the option to either nickel and dime it when you want to nickel and dime it, control the clock, right? Or if you want those mid to long range throws, you can still take those chances and understand that no matter what happens, you'll get another chance, right? They've never, that I've watched, they've never been in a situation where it's like, let's go into panic mode. Even against Stafford, in my mind, Stafford was the better quarterback, but the defense controlled that game enough to where Sam Darnold came in and said, oh, you guys have Matt Stafford. That's cool, but we have me, right? We have all these weapons, Charbonnet, right? We got them all. You don't stand a chance against us. We control this game all around. It's not just one team or the other team. It is both teams work in unison, and that's what I like about the coach of the program at Seattle. I don't like Seattle at all, but I like that program.
But I think what separates Seattle too and what makes Seattle a complete team is actually their special teams. Their special teams, because Seattle has a great defense and they have a really good solid offense. They have good chemistry. But I think what separates them is that they have, especially with adding Rashid Shaheed, that completed their special teams. Now they're good in all 3 phases. You can't sleep on them on any other phases. They're a complete team.
And that makes it easier for people to work, right? When you have that program, that discipline, that communication, you don't have to rush. You're not thinking, you're not trying to play this play and be 3 steps ahead of that play. You're sitting there going, I could be in this play 100%, make the right decisions, look at my checkdowns, right? And figure out if I got to scrape up the pocket out of there, right? Which hardly ever happened for Darnold. I think it's hard to see a lot of pressure on him, right? So you have a 3-fold game. You're never one-dimensional. They've got, again, discipline, great program. The speech that the coach made before they went into that game was phenomenal. It was kind of like we're here to work.
I agree definitely, and then for the coach himself on offense, it opens a playbook on any down, any play, because they can trust that defense. It doesn't matter if it's 4th and long, 4th and short. Do I want to go for it? Do I want to just kick the ball and trust my defense? So it opens up the playbook for any play you want to go for. Depending on do I want to play a possession? Do I want them, play field? Do I want to go for it? It opens a playbook for the coaches too.
Yeah. And you get to make the other team panic. You can put them in situations that they don't want to be in. Right, which is what happened to Stafford. He was in position. He was in situations where he just didn't want to be in that situation.
I gotta, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Just a little bit of a stretch here. Easy E. I think you just think back before you go, oh, dog, come on, just think back. I think Darnold, when I look at his dynamic, the way that he is now and his ability to just make throws when he really needs to, I think we might be getting out of Phil Simms territory and maybe tickling into Troy Aikman. If you notice, remember Aikman. The thing is, Aikman was not a guy who would go out there and win the game for you, but Aikman just did not. He made all his throws, didn't make any mistakes, had a good arm.
And yet
he might be there because he had a dynamic quality to him. Troy Aikman did. And it was the same thing. He had Michael Irvin. He had
and yet that's news to Aikman.
If Sam Darnold can keep his turnovers, continue to lower them like he has been in the last games, I would agree with that assessment. I would say that's up there.
Yeah, he's getting.
I would agree. He's up there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, Justin. You had something to say about the Packers there, or something, or
No, I was saying your praise for Aikman's actually news to him. He probably didn't know he was doing that. At least doesn't know that he played that good back then. With that blank stare he has on Monday nights. Ready? This is stare.
Well, Aikman was, you know what? Aikman's all right. You know who's regressed, though, as far as, and I used to like him on broadcast, but something has happened in the last 2 years to, good Lord, Tony Romo. Something's not right.
Tony Romo, when he started, he was on fire.
When he got that plastic surgery on his face, you notice he's had some work done.
Yeah, well, I think what happened with Romo upped his pack of smokes from 2 packs to like 4. In that voice, that smoker voice that he's got going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's wrong. Because I liked Romo for a long time, and then just these last couple of seasons, though,
he's
just getting kind of out there. I don't know.
Tony's still trying to recover from his his mishaps that he had over the years.
I know a game against the Packers, right? I'm sure he's trying to recover from. Right? Is that what it is?
No.
The guy that needs to retire is Collinsworth. Collinsworth needs to retire completely.
Yeah. Well, I think Collinsworth, he's reached a point where he has said everything that he can possibly say about football.
I guess
that's really what it is.
It's like what else do I have to say? Let me reach in a bag of tricks. Let me see what else I have. It's like,
well, that's what I said because as Justin may have told you, and I was like 25 years in doing this type of stuff, and then it reached a certain point where I said, you know what? When all has been said and done, there will be nothing left to say or do. To quote the immortal Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins. And that's the point that I reached. So, it's been a couple of years now. And I said, you know what? What am I going to say about this situation, this sport? I've been at everything that hasn't been said again.
Yeah.
But, I feel a little re-energized here. And
but I also told you the only way you're signing off of this show is if we're doing a show by your casket. That's the only way you're signing off is I will be there recording material in hand, and I'll make sure that that's your last show. Don't you try to sign off early, okay?
Wait, is that Tom Brady's brother or no?
No.
Tom Brady's brother.
Yeah, she read the bottom of the screen. I'm sure I made a mistake.
All about.
Now here we go. No.
Okay.
Anyway, but you are right. I think people do run out of things to say, and I think that if you look at, what strikes me as odd is Collinsworth's partner. I forgot his name.
Al Michaels?
Yeah. No. Is it? No.
Al Michaels?
Is that him?
Is that who you're talking about?
His name.
Do you believe in miracles?
No, the other guy, the black guy with glasses.
Black guy with glasses.
Collinsworth.
He's with Collinsworth.
You mean Mike Tirico?
Yeah.
Mike Tirico.
Okay. So he's moving on. When he shows up on the Masters, that threw me off. Threw my whole world off.
Yeah.
I was watching the Masters. I was like, wait a minute. I know that voice, and I'm not watching football right now. So I think
being the play-by-play guy is different from being an analyst. That's the thing. Play-by-play guy, you just got to follow the game. along so that career can go a lot longer versus when you're truly analyzing the game. That's where it can get, you know, you get in a cycle and stuff and it gets to be very familiar. But the guy who's doing the play-by-play, he calls each game and each game is different. So they can last a long time versus guys who are analyzing. I remember when John Madden.
Oh, John Madden never got old.
Well, what happened was I remember because he took.
Wait, hold on. Let's pause here. Let's pause here. You can only compare Brett Favre to other players so many times in your career, and then you just run out of comparisons to make. Come on. John Madden's love for Brett Favre was very romantic. It was very lovely and inspiring. You know that. We all. I got to grow up with John Madden.
But the entertainment value.
Yeah, the turkey, the three-leg turkey. But like, come on. Oh, nobody throws that pass better than Brett Favre does.
Exactly. But you know what?
Legs on that turkey. You're thinking of some kind of crude joke you heard in high school.
But nowadays,
jokes that you pick up, okay?
What is it? 50 years later, and what video game do kids play still? Football, number one video game.
Yep.
What's the name on it? John Madden football.
Yeah, is that's still a thing? That's still a thing.
It is still a thing. It's the number one thing.
Here's my deal. I grew up to where I was the guy that was playing NFL Fever and not Madden football. And I was always like, Madden sucks. NFL Fever is the way to go, right? And then it was like, then they bought it. See, they don't know because they got gray hair and they're gray beards.
No, see, just to let you know, Justin also had a Zune when everybody else had an iPod too.
Yeah.
Right?
I had a MySpace when everybody had Instagram. Excuse me.
I'm gonna have to bring my old 16-bit system so you can play NHL '94. That's the only game that they still had fights, and they would allow the players to fight, and you would see blood and everything.
Yeah.
94 New York Rangers in 6 games over the Vancouver Canucks captivated the nation. Stanley Cup final.
I don't remember who won the Stanley Cup. All I remember is that's the last game that allowed fights in the game. So you can actually take off your gloves and
I remember that. I remember.
Yeah.
And then we got a glowing puck after that on the broadcast, which anyway, okay.
Yeah, and now NHL has been moving out of fights altogether. These fights are getting weaker and weaker, Charles. Weaker and weaker.
Well, you know what? It'll never be as bad as the NBA. That's for sure. That's the NBA is just like going to the carnival and watching guys shoot the ball from 30 feet away from the basket. How long? Who's going to sit through 2 hours of that? And then you got guys that can't play every day because of, I don't know, maintenance or whatever. And I get it. Like the old school NBA players are saying these guys need to play. And when we think about it, you look at the fans. And I remember back before I got to do the media thing. And, you save up money, you work overtime and all that kind of stuff so you can go and see guys play. And you get there to the game, and what? So-and-so is out due to what? Maintenance, coach's decision, whatever. But back then in the 80s and 90s, those guys played no matter what. What did it take to get Jordan or Magic off the court? Larry Bird.
But here's the problem. This is why they're either not playing or taking the three from like 90,000 feet away from the net, right? Is that they're all trying to skew the game because they keep betting on it.
I'm not even entertaining that.
Please do.
There's so many conspiracy theories about gambling. It's just ridiculous.
See, back in '86 when Jordan hurt his foot, he actually got a chance to play, and because he accused the ownership of trying to tank to get a higher draft pick, and because it became a scandal, they allowed him to come back and play. He was healthy. He said, "I'm healthy." They just want the Bulls to lose and not make the playoffs so we could get a draft pick. And that's when they actually came back and played against the Celtics, and he scored 62. And that's when Larry Bird famously said, "That's not Michael Jordan. That's God disguised as Michael Jordan."
Yeah,
because he dropped 62 on the Celtics.
Yeah.
They actually made the playoffs, and he came back in February. Of that year. He was hurt. He broke his ankle. They allowed him to come back late, but they were trying to save him. That tells you nowadays these players. No, if I don't have to play, Anthony Davis. How many times has he been hurt? Every year he's out.
Street
I don't think he's played a 82 season at all in his career.
Yeah, but someone's always willing to pick up his ridiculously bloated contract
Exactly.
and hope that he suits up for 25 games a year.
I'm like, I think I stopped watching the game NBA religiously after like 99 season act.
Yeah, like, you know what? That's true. You look at dudes our age, most of the NBA fans, they're really, a lot of them, they're like more like the 30 and under crowd. Everybody older, we know what the game used to be like, and that's what we want to see. And I know all games evolve. They do. But the NBA has turned into something just unwatchable. It's either 30-foot jump shots, free throws, or layups. Nobody has a mid-range game anymore.
There's no mid-range. Yeah. And that was an art. It was an art form. You remember Adrian Dantley and your Mark Aguirre's and those guys that had a mid-range game, Alex English, and the beauty of it, Terry Cummings, and it was an art form. I think the change of the NBA was when they allowed that 3-point line to come in the game, because that killed the mid range.
All they have to do is take out the 3-point line, and the guys are forced to play ball again.
Yeah.
And then for defense, now you can't even check a player.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can, but they cry, right?
No, you can't check them because as soon as they put their hand on their waist to check them, it's a foul.
Yeah, no more hand checking, no zone.
No more hand checking.
You know who you can blame for that though? Let's be honest. You can blame Vlade Divac for that one. Nobody flopped like that guy, and that's why they call it stuff.
Oh, nobody flops like LeBron James. I've seen this.
Yeah, he cried. He's a baby. He's a baby. Every time someone says who's better, LeBron James or so and so, it's like, no, LeBron James cries. He's a baby. Get him out of there. Pick a better player to watch. But Mr. Shroud, actually, so we were faced with the question of, do we cover basketball the next go around?
No,
run out of football. And Charles and I both looked at each other and said,
the reason we're not going to cover it, I'm not going to research it, and I will not be able to speak truly knowledgeably because I'm not going to watch games. I'm not going to research it. Maybe if there's some news like Chris Paul gets shipped out, and then all of a sudden the Clippers go on a winning streak, I can tell you about that. And I can tell you why that happened was because Chris Paul is still playing. He's playing a style of basketball that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. He's going to kick it out to you for a mid-range jump shot and you don't take it. That's the problem is that Chris Paul, he spans those two eras of basketball when the game was still the game. And to what it is now, he just doesn't fit. That's it. He has the longevity, but he's playing a style of ball that nobody plays anymore.
Yeah, he's I guess you could say he's the last of the Mohicans because he didn't adapt, so he dies in a tar pit. That's the way it goes. Yeah, he didn't evolve. He's a great player, great talent, but he didn't roll with the punches because nowadays it's like they say can Steph Curry play back in the 80s and 90s? Well, he would have been a Del Curry.
Right. Yeah.
That's what he'd been. He'd been because that wasn't the style back in the day. It wasn't. I mean, he wouldn't have been able to dribble around the court because look what happened to Isaiah Thomas when he tried to go into with the mailman. Remember that one?
I still remember Kurt Rambis and Kevin McHale. That's what
but mailman. Isaiah Thomas tried to dribble around, look pretty dribbling around the mailman. Mailman gave him elbow. He got 18 stitches.
I remember that. Yep. You won't be able to dribble and take these little. You probably get you 1 shot, 2 shots off of it.
Let's ask this question. Let's ask this question.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah. So let's ask this question then, right? So I like to think, right, like all things, just like football, Charles, I live in the golden age of football and don't move on from there, right, is that with basketball, of dust. Yeah. With basketball, I like to think that I watched some of the tail end of that, when it started to die, right, but it hadn't yet died, right? So the question, and we know because that's when Kobe got all of his deals, and then that's when, you had the Lakers and the Pacers, Lakers and the Sacramento Kings, so on and so forth, right? So the question is, right, can there be Charles, we talk about this with players for football all the time, can there be a revival of these sports? Can we go backwards to where we finally realize that, hey, these commissioners are destroying the game, right? Like the Goodall's having a Super Bowl halftime show with a guy that is rumored to wear almost a dress for the show, right? Is that, can we go back to the point where sports were just sports, where you could, basketball was, most people were like me playing basketball like a linebacker, or are we just going to progress to the point where nobody really wants to watch it because it's just weak, and it's like not fun, it's not fun to watch.
I think here's the problem is that for any business to survive, you have to be forward thinking. So you have now, you're a teacher. So when you look at these kids, look at the 18 to 25 crowd. You got diehards like us who will watch no matter what, but how are you going to hook the next generation? And what it is they like those spectacular things. Look at Bad Bunny. It's not for us. We're going to watch the game anyway, so who cares? We'll just go outside and do whatever and, grill up some burgers or something at halftime and not watch it. But there is a segment that needs to be pulled in, a segment of the population that needs to be pulled in, and what they're doing. And that's why you see the NFL doing all kinds of kind of questionable, maybe odd things. They're trying to figure out how to get their hooks into the next generation, because the next generation, they don't wake up at, here I'm on the West Coast. They don't wake up at 9:30 in the morning, plant themselves on the couch by 10 o'clock and sit and watch football all the way till 4, take a break for an hour, and then watch the night game. They don't do that. So how do you keep them engaged? That's the problem.
Yeah, that's something I struggle with the players that I coach. Is it's always like, I was like, well, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, well, I'm watching football all day. I get home on Friday. I turn college football on Saturday, and I watch it through Monday night. Right.
Well, that's what I know. Like, when I was coaching ice hockey.
Yeah.
I remember when I played as a kid, I was playing hockey, and when we got to the locker room, everybody was talking about, the latest Kings game that was on and stuff like that. But now you get kids in the locker room and you try to talk to them. So everybody saw the Kings that game, right? And they're just looking around at each other like, well, I was skateboarding. I was playing video games. I was doing whatever. So even the kids that play the sports don't even watch the sport like we did.
Yeah, so, and I don't think they.
How do you capture that generation?
I don't think they get it, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Though. You can do what you want to capture them. I mean, Mr. Schroeder, we know this, right? Especially the ones that we work with, is that you can try it at your hardest, and they're still not going to sit down. You could do whatever ever, and they're not going to watch that game. I mean,
so if you're running a business, how do you keep that in? Look at all the billions of dollars that the NFL is generating right now. Yeah. So how do you keep that coming in? That's I think where you
keep bringing Taylor Swift into the games, so that way when they come on Monday, hey, did you watch the game? No, but I saw what Taylor Swift was wearing, and I'm going to buy that at the store. So it keeps the business going.
But at what cost?
Watch the game, and we say they need to quit showing Swift. What happens? We still watch the games. And they know that.
Yeah, but at what cost,
we're not going to disappear as viewers.
Travis Kelce turned to an awful tight end. Tony Romo turned into a terrible quarterback, right, with Jessica Simpson, that whole PR stunt that they tried earlier. But at what cost, though, right? So if you're trying to move forward with these games, and you leave your fan base, the real fan base, the guys like us who we're watching football all day long, the weekend. We watch it Monday. We watch it Thursday.
Your wife is giving you a look right now. She's like, "Yeah, he does. Yeah.
You gonna have
I like football.
But that's my point, though. Like with hockey, I'm watching the days I'm not watching football. I'm watching hockey, right? So at what point do you
sleeping?
Yeah, if I make it that late. Kings out here. Kings play at 10, and that's if I'm lucky, I'll stay awake for that game.
Yeah.
But again, the point is that. Do you leave your fan base behind and try to move into this weak generation of people that hardly watch the show?
Hey, listen, in 25 years, I'll probably be 6 feet under. I'd be 90 at that point. What, 65?
No, you got.
Yeah, I'd be 90.
I plan on going a 45-year run.
What's that?
I plan on going a 45-year run with this show, so you best not check out early.
Yeah.
You and Mr. Estrada, don't check out early. I'll be at your caskets. Okay.
Hey, I turned 65 this year, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, you have to think forward. So they already got me. I've been watching football since, the early 70s. I'm not going anywhere. They know that. But you have to get the next generation. And also, kids aren't influenced by their parents the way they used to, because a lot of kids, the reason why did I start watching football? Because my dad watched football.
Yeah,
A lot of that was coming forward. But now with the whole computer thing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
dads are watching football and kids are in the room, playing on their phones and everything else and watching. There was a highlight. Okay, let me look it up. Okay, I just saw it. Good. Now I go back to my video game.
That's the same story.
We watch the games, and then after the game, we go watch the highlights on ESPN or whatever, and to rewatch those spectacular plays. But I will say this though, for us, the fans, football is making a little bit of a comeback with the running game, because a lot of these teams are going back to the running game. They're bringing the 1 and 2 punch. There's less gunslinging. And a lot of, you still have your teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, because that all they do is pass. But a lot of these teams, look at the Seahawks, look at the Patriots. They're running the game. Look at my Bears. Going back to the 1-2 punch.
I appreciate
only team in the NFL with 2 running backs that had over 700 yards and 6 touchdowns.
The Bears.
Yeah, I appreciate the run game coming back.
Yeah, I remember that. That was bad. Sorry, I had to say that.
What did you say? Something about your running back leaving to go smoke weed, or what? Is that what you said?
No, and we didn't draft him, by the way. That was the Saints who drafted him. But I never forgave Ricky Williams for that. And he waited till like 3 weeks before the season was started and said, "I'm quitting and going to smoke weed."
Yeah,
and he announced that at the end of the last season, and we could have filled in and got another running back, but he was all set to be the featured back, and then he quit on us. And
I think don't the Saints who was it that traded Ditka? Don't that traded the draft picks, like 25,000 draft picks? Don't they still have draft picks for Ricky Williams still?
I think so. Yeah.
They probably still have draft picks they traded like 25,000 draft picks for Rick Williams. Remember when he came out with the dreadlocks and everything? Like, oh, we got Ricky Williams.
Yeah, and you know what Ricky Williams got out of that one? UT named their field after him. How super cool is that, right? UT said we're going to go all out and be super inclusive here, and even include the potheads, and we'll name our field after him.
Yeah, but that's one play that's a coulda, shoulda, woulda. That was a waste of talent, because he was a great talent, but that was a waste of talent.
Well, the guy was taking antidepressants from the time he came into the league, so he had problems. He always did. That
seems like a Miami thing, though. Just they generally waste talent, right?
Oh.
What are you talking about? How did that come to a Miami thing? Are you talking about the Hurricanes, or are you talking about the Dolphins? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tua, brother. Tua.
Well, never should have drafted him, never should have extended him. Justin Herbert should be our quarterback. Well, you got to remember, we go back, it's always the front office making bad decisions. When we had Nick Saban as the head coach, and there were 2 quarterbacks who were free agents we could have signed, Drew Brees or Dante Culpepper. Nick Saban says we want Drew Brees. Management says, nah, Dante Culpepper. And the rest is history.
Yeah, that was a terrible decision. But hey, you guys might end up with Malik Willis. What do you think about that?
The head coach of the Dolphins, he said during the draft, let's get Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
What does the front office say? We want Tua.
So will you guys will Jeff Hafley change that cycle, or what?
Well, I mean, he comes from the Packers, so he has to be great, right?
He did. He was the best coach in the locker room. I'll give him that one. I'm not gonna say he was great.
We're coming after Malik Willis. I want Malik Willis, and you guys are stuck.
What are you gonna do with Tua? What are you gonna do with $95 million sitting on a bench?
You know what? That's no. We gotta cut him. Cut him. Take the loss, and that's it. He is never signing another NFL contract, guaranteed. You can't even sign him as a backup. He's just done. Besides, as he said, You know,
God.
the most important thing is his family. So whether I win or lose or throw 5 interceptions or not, I get to go home to my wife and kids. It's like, yeah, that's exciting to hear when people are
But
spending money.
that would still hurt the Dolphins. Who are you gonna sign?
Malik
Yeah,
Willis. They get Malik Willis.
Is Tyreek Hill free agent this year?
He's out.
They can let him go. It depends. March 13th, we'll know whether they're going to keep him on the roster.
I don't think he'll recover from that injury, man. That's
gonna be tough to recover. But if he is under contract, that's another contract. If they let him go, if he has anything guaranteed, that's gonna put him on no cap.
No, they're going to let him go because of the guaranteed money. And so basically, our tent poles there, we're going to have Jalen Waddle, our number 1 receiver. We're going to have Devon Achane, who is on his way to become.
Oh, that's a beast right there, though.
Yeah.
They can send him to Chicago. We'll take him.
I think if you guys do get Malik Willis, though, I think that's a good pickup. That's probably the best pickup that they've made in a while.
Yeah.
Isn't he on the Packers?
But honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of teams, including the Jets, that are going to go after Malik Willis.
Oh, good Lord, the Jets! Why do people go to the Jets? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, when he goes into whatever dark cave for 2 weeks and then comes out and says, "I want to sign with the Jets." It's like, man, what the hell was in that game with him?
Yeah.
No, I know nobody wants to go to the Jets. Nobody wants to go to the Jets, but Malik Willis is. If I were the Packers, I would trade away Jordan Love and keep Malik Willis.
Yeah. Send Love to the Jets. Let Malik Willis shine.
Yes, indeed. Everybody wants to send Love to the Jets, but it's just futile.
Yeah. You finally picked up a joke. You finally picked up one of my jokes. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you did that intentionally?
If I said yes, would you believe me?
No.
No.
I would not. Nor would your wife.
No, all my jokes land every week. They land.
Yeah. Wow. What's that Jim Carrey said in that movie? Behind every successful man is a woman rolling her eyes.
All right, here it goes, okay. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Right? So we got the Seahawks. We got the Patriots. Man, I got to be honest that when trying to make this decision, it was difficult for me because there were things that, could send the game one way or the other. But then there were things that, if you really thought about it, would essentially make the game lopsided and send it one way. Right? And so it took me a while to figure out who I was going to base my decision off of, right? And what part of the club I was gonna kind of anchor that decision in, right? Because you can have the players you want, and then you got the teams on either side of the ball, and then you got the programs that they're part of, right? So you really got to look at like what can Drake May show. And is Drake May showing what he did in the season leading up to the postseason? Then you look at Darnold, who's been on like 5 million different teams, and he's finally made it to the big game. And will the pressure get to him? Right? Will it shake the Seahawks program in general? Because if it doesn't, then you take away a few weapons that Drake May has, who has become somewhat one-dimensional. Right, they really only have 2 or 3 plays that Drake May kind of utilizes, and outside of that, when you throw them off that rhythm, it doesn't work. You got the Seahawks on one side, right? Who's like we talked about earlier, got the great program, defense, special teams. You got Charbonnet and you got everyone else on their offense, who can make this game again lopsided. Right, can essentially run the score up to where, we look at the playoffs leading up to it where they've all been close games. I don't think that's going to be the case here. What do y'all think?
Well, you know what? One thing is I do hope that win, lose, or draw, I hope Kenneth Walker is the MVP of the game because have you ever heard a guy talk who sounds like he just inhaled a whole balloon full of helium? That's Kenneth Walker when he talks, and he is going to be the featured back because Zach Charbonnet is out. He got a torn ACL, I think, or yeah. So he's done. So hopefully Kenneth Walker doesn't get worn down. But I will say this about the Patriots. When I look at the games they won, it's like one thing you beat the Texans, with C.J. Stroud, who has regressed to, I don't know, a third-string quarterback now. And then you have Jarrett Stidham, who had to take over for Bo Nix, who injured his ankle. And actually, it turns out that Josh Allen broke a bone in his foot in that game, too. So no matter what, they were going to face a second-string quarterback in that championship game.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of one of the second stringers.
But the disturbing thing, though, I'd say about the Patriots is how long it took to put away those teams that had deficiencies at quarterback. Really, the only reason they won that game against Denver was the backwards pass fumble that left, that led to that touchdown, and that's it's a 10-7 game.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's like a complete team, like the Seahawks, strong on both sides of the ball, a strong run game, a good pass game, and the number one quarterback is healthy. I think that spells that's going to be really tough for them to deal with. And we'll see what Drake May is really made of, because he's going to have to ball out. I'll tell you this. If the Patriots win this game, Drake May is going to be the MVP. Guaranteed he's the MVP, because he's going to have to ball out to beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks want this thing, and I think they're going to take this thing. And I'm still kind of upset that Dan Marino retired in 1999. We're still trying to replace him. Tom Brady retired, 5 years ago? And then the Patriots are already back to the Super Bowl. See, that ain't right. It ain't right, man. It ain't right. So the Seahawks have got to do this for me and my grandson, who is a big-time Seahawks fan for the past, I think 14 years or so, he's been a Seahawks fan. So he's excited. I'm excited. Marvin the Martian is excited. Seahawks, baby. Seahawks are going. They're gonna take them down. That's it.
I was waiting for the plug for your hat. I was trying to see when you'd put that in there. Normally you get up right off the bat, but this time you waited about 57 minutes. That's impressive.
Yeah, even the Illudium Q36 explosive space modulator would not even be able to save the Patriots in this game. It's the Seahawks, baby. They're gonna roll.
I think you're right. So I think when it comes down to it, I think that Drake May has to ball out, but Drake May is going to be forced to use his checkdowns, right? His number one weapon right off the bat is that roll out, hit that tight end 5 yard, 5 yard out. That's that premier route for him. But I think that most teams have figured him out with that, and so he's going to be forced to not just move around the pocket, but he's going to be forced to utilize all checkdowns. And not just that number 2 route or, even the number 3, he's going to have to use it across the board, or figure out how to, they're going to have to figure out how to adjust to a dump off route, which, with their running back. So Drake May they're going to force him to work and to see if he can show up like in season Drake May rather than postseason Drake May, who's kind of been shook by the pressure.
Well, what is postseason Drake May?
He tapered off. He hasn't played as good. He hasn't been as sharp as he was in the season.
I think that's Mike Vrabel kind of getting a little conservative with the play calling, though. I think Mike Vrabel's a good coach, and he knows what he has to do to win these games. So that's going to be a good coaching job by him too. That's another thing that may be a factor. Is Vrabel knows what he's supposed to do. He knows what he has to do. I'm sure he's looking over the Seahawks. You can't get this thing into a shootout. He knows he's got to play it close to the vest, keep the score close, and give his team a chance. Because if it becomes wide open, if it becomes an up and down thing, the Patriots are done. So the only way is to slow the game down and try to drag the Seahawks into deep water, and then maybe it gets decided by a mistake or two here and there.
I think that could be a game changer too, because with Verbal, is that he's got a lot riding on this one, because he could be the only person who won a Super Bowl, player and a coach at the same team, right? So that's a record that he could put in his pocket. So I think you're going to try a little harder than what most coaches would try as far as going into the game.
Well, I think Vrabel is a great coach. Nothing against him, but I do agree that Drake May, it seems like from regular season and into the playoffs, his confidence has diminished. whether it be the play calling, he doesn't seem to be the same dominant play. He doesn't have the confidence that he had in the regular season. It hasn't shown in the playoffs. And this in the Super Bowl, he's going to face the toughest defense yet.
Mhm.
He went against Houston, and he kind of got surprised by their defense. Against Denver, like Charles said, if it had not been for that backwards pass, they probably lose that game against a backup quarterback.
And the weather.
Now they're facing the toughest defense yet, because this Seattle defense has been the best defense in the NFL all year long. And they have a special teams that they have to contend with. And I think the key player to this, I do think Walker is going to be the MVP of this game. I think he's going to run all over and I think the key player to all this is that 34-year-old Cooper Kupp, because his blocking for Walker is going to be key to open them spots for Walker to get them big holes and have those big runs. So Cooper Kupp is going to be the X factor in this game to me, and he's going to be the key blocking for Walker to have them big explosive runs. Walker's going to run all over the place, but I think Sam Darnold's going to have some key plays also where he's going to have to get that third down to get that first down. Key moments with Smith and Jigba, or with Barner, and they're going to have key moments. But I think Walker's going to run away with the MVP. I do think that Seattle's actually going to win by more than 10 points. It's going to be double digit. I think Seattle's going to roll over the Patriots.
So I again, I'm not a Seahawks fan, but I think the Seahawks win. And I think that in this game, you're right. I think that the defense are going to lock it down from the beginning of the game. And I think that Drake May's just not going to know. He's going to be overwhelmed with the amount of pressure he's going to see and the amount of secondary lockdown of the receivers that's going to happen. And so I really think that this game's going to be won, not because of Sam Darnold. I'm not saying he's not good, I'm not saying he's not doing well, but I'm going to say that he's not going to even have to try too hard because of that defense. Yeah. It's going to be a walk.
Just don't throw interceptions. Don't lose the ball.
Yeah.
Control the ball. Give it to Walker. Watch Cooper Kupp open out. Get that key block for him. And I'm going to say this. He's going to have at least 2 runs with big yardage. A couple of 30-run yards, a couple of touchdowns. Walker's going to be your MVP in this game.
And this is Sasquatch approved, by the way.
It
is. Now, right? You see Sasquatch?
Yeah, right in the corner.
I went 2 days in the future. I already saw the game. I'm back. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's a monkey.
Every now and then it's moving, let him in, you know.
Yeah.
Watches over us.
Yeah, you go from the hat to the yeah, I think that I don't know. Can
I say my opinions?
No, we didn't have women on sports when I was a kid, so.
Well, you do now.
You're pretty face.
The whole station's at danger.
Wait a minute, are you knocked up?
Okay. So I think that Drake May is gonna get a little scared because the defense is gonna be like bulldogs, and he's not gonna know what to do, and he's just gonna throw the ball.
Wait, which one, Drake May? Yeah.
Drake May.
English bulldogs or French bulldogs?
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Actually, yes.
Georgia in the house. Georgia in the house.
Kind of aggressive, depending on how tall you are. But I don't know. Sam Darnold, yes, he has a good offense and defense, but he's been crappy on every other team that he's been on.
You're going to hold the Jets against him? He was on the Jets. And he was pretty good with the Vikings. He was pretty good with the Vikings.
Well,
he was actually really good with the Vikings.
That is a factor. So I'm going to agree on that one, right? Is that this is the big game, right? He's been sound in the season. He's been sound in playoffs. But the question is, this is kind of the game, and he obviously has had some doubts because it took so long to become a starting quarterback, to which a coach wanted to invest in, right? And he's bounced around the league a couple times, right? And so this is his resurrection from not becoming Geno Smith or Jameis Winston, right? So he kind of figured out how to get out of that cycle. So will that mindset carry him through the Super Bowl?
I think that if he was going to regress, he would have done it. He would have done it in that late season game against the Rams. He would have done it in the first round or the second round of the playoffs, but he didn't. He's not going to regress. He has finally arrived.
Yeah, the game that cemented his confidence was against the Rams last week. That was it. That's his game right there. That was his Super Bowl in his mind, for his confidence, for what to say, I'm here and I'm here to stay. This is it. This is the new me
against the Rams in the regular season.
Well, that was his game. That was
the game where he realized it.
In the regular season, that was his game again over the hump. This last week was where he was. I got to prove it to myself. Yep, this is for real. I'm here. I'm here to stay. Okay. So Sam Darnold is proving everybody wrong from here on out. You're getting what you get. This is the Troy Aikman, right? This is the Troy Aikman Sam Darnold right here.
The fourth concussion Troy Aikman, or is this like the young Troy Aikman? Which one are we going with? Fourth concussion?
I don't know. Ask Charles, which Troy Aikman is this one?
Put a little something else on it. How about that, man?
Yeah,
we're going Trojans on you, baby, because Sam Darnold, he's representing SC in the house also. Yeah, SC. Aikman went to UCLA also, by the way. That's just kind of a little thing there. But, yeah. He is starting to get into the territory of the good Aikman. I mean, Aikman's a Hall of Famer, so I'm a little ahead of myself here. But I think if it keeps going this way, next couple of seasons, I think he's finally found his way, and he would be just a great story if he just made his way into the Hall of Fame someday. Just looking at the
that would be an amazing story. But right now, honestly, if he continues to play the way he played this year, it's a bargain. It's a steal for the Seahawks to get him for what they got him from, and the Vikings are going to be kicking their own butts for letting him walk out the door.
That's why they fired their GM. It was because of that move.
It turns out
that they fired him on this past Friday.
Yeah, it turns out that he was a fraud, like most of Minnesota, right?
I've never seen anyone who takes division rivalry so personally.
Hey, man, you got to call
the
him.
only thing he hasn't capped on is the Lions, because that'd be like teasing the Down syndrome kid, We won't do that.
He just hates that every time he walks out his door, he looks across the hall and he has to look at the Bears.
Yeah, I got to look
at my door every single day.
And here I'm sitting here.
Are you in the Super Bowl?
This is all just NFC stuff to me. It's just NFC stuff.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, we are Seahawks across the board, right? We going Seahawks? Everyone Seahawks here?
I would say.
Okay, so we're going Seahawks by 4.
What?
Seahawks by 4 touchdowns?
34 to 27.
I would say this: they're a 4.5-point favorite. I do advise everyone to gamble responsibly if you do gamble, but go ahead, take the Seahawks, give the points, and you can thank me on Monday.
Oh my goodness. Well, any last comments, guys? Last comments?
No, that's it. I didn't get to I'm in your political segment there for a minute, but just remember this. I say this when I like talking with people and communicating, and just remember this, people, just a general thing. If you want to talk about any topic, what it comes down to expand your mind. If you accept the fact that you may be wrong about anything that you think, then your potential for growth and learning is basically limitless.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you can possibly be wrong, no matter how sure you are. Is there a possibility you're wrong? Yeah, so go ahead and listen to things and just don't be afraid to be wrong. And, every now and then you got to reset.
Yeah, just like we found out that Brian Urlacher wasn't on the Dolphins this episode. So
Exactly. I'm glad you didn't dig your heels on that one there, Justin, because that would have been ugly.
I didn't want to. I'm okay with being wrong. You know
I would have
what
had to go on the Google and then prove that you were wrong.
Yeah.
Do you still have the nose plug thing?
The nose, yeah, I do. Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't leak. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
What do you want to be on? You want to be on a Tampax commercial or what?
Hey, that's a sponsorship right there.
Roethlisberger, I remember when he broke his nose during a game, and they had to
You
put
can
the
play sports and you just. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys. This is once again another episode of TDGS Sports, where we will be back next week to talk about the Super Bowl, to talk about the Olympics, and discuss where we are going as far as coverage goes from there, which will probably be hockey. But hey, USA, USA, USA. We're about to murder Canada in hockey, and not the Trump style. We're about to actually do some damage. Okay?
No ice involved.
Yeah. So.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is brought to you by Dyed in the Wool History Productions. If you keep touch on our news segment will be up the same. The Dissenting Goyim Show, episode 6. Where we talked about Iran and everything else like that. So I'm glad we could get our sports in because, hey, man, sports, it's unity, right? That's where everybody gets to come together for that brief moment. We get to hang out, talk sports, talk shop, get to drink some beers with each other and bullshit, and then get right back on with our life.
And this
So that's what we got with sports. Huh?
That's a diverse panel here. We got to go from light to darkest here. And we
I
see
it right across the board, too.
Yeah. I am part of that DEI hire, right?
It's the hue,
right? We get to see all the colors here, so it's awesome.
The hue or the hue? We got
hue.
some Miami Hurricanes fans here, so you say the hue or the hue?
Yeah, with your quarterback that's been there for 6 years.
Hey, you know what? If they're gonna let you do it, that's the NCAA and its rules. You know, you got a quarterback who actually finished college 2 years ago and still playing for your football team.
Yeah, well, people started watching Van Wilder, and that's where we went with that one, right? I don't want to move on.
Man, wow, that trash can scene is still magnificent.
Oh, I quote that all the time. That trash.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
you folded up like a taco into that trash can. That was good.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We will be back, your same host, because I've officially hooked Mr. E here to come back every week, and he thinks he's not going to sometimes, but I've hooked him. It's his retirement plan.
Just let everyone know.
Yeah.
I got
nice
shoes too. Yeah, how about that? USA shoes too, man. Look at that.
Woo! There we go. All right, and here we go. USA. We will see you later. So long.